Hi everyone, today I wanted to film a video. I am having a rough day mentally and also physically. I'm in quite a bit of pain, but I got this idea and I really wanted to do it, and I think it's a pretty easy idea, and I think it's actually kind of an interesting idea. I want to make a cover for my cane, and as I was thinking about it, I was like, this seems like it's a really easy idea. And so then I made one and I really liked it, and so I'm gonna make another one, and I want to show you how to do it. So if you have a cane and you're kind of getting bored with the color you have or whatever, this is how to make a cane cover. Okay, so these are the materials you are going to need for this. A crochet hook, a rubber band, and a ball of yarn. These two are the only consumables. And then this, and this, obviously, you'll still have them at the end. This is my cane. It's currently in pieces. You're gonna take this rubber band, and you're gonna want a rubber band that fits around your cane fairly snugly. So this one, if I double it over, fits pretty snugly. So this is the one that I'll be using. It's actually optional. If you get your sleeve the right size, it should just stay up on its own, I think, but just for a little bit of extra security. So what is going to happen is you're going to build your crochet off of this, and then it's going to be up here, so it'll keep it in place. Also, if you don't know the exact size of your cane, you might want a ruler, and more specifically, you might want a ruler because even if you know the length of your cane, you have to factor in this curve here, so you want to be able to measure the curve. So I know that with the curve, mine is 28 inches, so that's how long my cover is going to be, so I don't need that. But basically, I think you also need to have a cane that can pull apart, or that this can come off so that you can slide it onto here. Otherwise, I don't know how you'd get the cane cover on unless you can take this or take this off, or take this off, or, you know, take the top part off. If you can't do that, the other thing I would suggest is making one kind of like a button down. So you just make like a tube with buttonholes on one side and then buttons on the other, and then you just button it together. You could also knit this if you're a knitter instead, like knitting in the round. You'd probably need DPNs, because I don't think you're ever going to find a pair of needles small enough, or of circulars small enough, but I still think you'd want to start with crochet because that's just an easier way to start if you're building it off of a rubber band. Also, today we're filming from my bed, so bear with me a little bit. It's not probably going to be the best looking shots ever, but I can't get out of bed today. So this is what we're starting with, and fits pretty snugly. So when I go to crochet around it, kind of like you would a scrunchie, if you've ever made scrunchies before, I'm going to want to make sure it's doubled up. Alright, so it's pretty simple, really. I found that for this guy, 12 around is basically right, but what I did was I just took this beginning part and I tied a little knot, as one does, just for, you know, security around the thing. And then I started doing single crochets. I did 12 around this. I did single crochets just for this first row. And then after that, I switched to double crochets. Kind of have to pull it a little bit and fiddle with it just a bit so that you can actually fit all 12. Right now I don't count this first one, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I still need 5 more. So just kind of squish them a little more, keep going. And I'm trying out a new type of hold because I've been having problems with this hand because of my arthritis. So it's a little fiddly for me right now, but you shouldn't have too much problem with this if you've got normal hands. Okay, so now that I have 12, I'm just going to link this one to this one with a slip stitch. It's not exactly necessary, but I find it gives like a cleaner beginning one. And so then from here, honestly, you just keep crocheting around. If you want to go in singles, you can just start in singles. But if you want to do double crochet or like triple crochet, what I would do personally is, because I don't like doing a round and then having to bind off and then starting another round and going and just having to do that every single round. What I would do to avoid that is I would start with a single crochet for your first one. And then do a double crochet. And what this does, I know it starts off a little bit slower this way, so that when you go to your next round, you're not going to be creating like a big bump, and you don't have to like go in and then start another and go around. You can just keep spiraling around without having to stop every row that ends, if you do it that way. So that's what I did. And then at the end, what you'll want to do is when you have the length in inches that you need, then when you bind off, you'll want to, on your second to last one, go back to a single, and then slip stitch the last one, so that'll also kind of create that nice seamless look for your spiral. Once you get to this point, I would definitely check and make sure that it does fit around your cane relatively easily. Like if you've got bad hands, you don't want it to be so tight that you're struggling, but that it fits and slips up and off your cane with this yarn on. Because if your yarn is extra bulky or something like that, just because the rubber band fit doesn't mean that the yarn will. So you want to make sure that's a good size. And if you're like, it's not good enough, it's like it's a little too tight, maybe what you want to do is get a band that's a little looser, or you'll want to do more rounds if it's you finding that the yarn is the issue, that it's like too tight of tension. So you might want to do like 13 or 14 rounds. For me, for the length of for the width of my cane, 12 is perfect, but you might find that you need a few more or a few less if you have a thinner cane or whatever. So it does have to be customized, a little bit to your cane. So it does require a little trial and error based on your cane size. But basically, once you've determined that it's a good fit, then you just knit however many inches, then you crochet however many inches it is that you need, and then come back at the end and we'll finish it off together. I'm using a 5mm hook. I think that's a size, I don't know, it's on here somewhere. I think it's a J. And then I'm using a 4 worsted weight yarn, and I think that's fairly standard, which is why I went with it. And that's so with the 4 yarn and the 5mm hook, 12 works perfectly for my cane. It's like a cane from CVS or whatever, so it's like pretty standard. So I think it should work for a lot of different canes, but that's what works for mine. So I'm not gonna film like the entire process of crocheting in the round because it's just very basic. You're just crocheting around and around, but I did want to show you that I lucked out with this yarn here, and it is pooling perfectly to make like this spiral. So I'm pretty happy with that. The other one that I used, the other yarn I used before, I used this, and it did not pool like that. So you know, the yarn that you use, if it's variegated like mine is gonna determine how it pools. So you might want to try a few different yarns out and see, you know, which one pools the way that you like, if you have the time. Okay, so I have crocheted this, and it did end up kind of spiraling, and now I'm at the end and I want to finish, but because we did a spiral instead of doing a row and then going up and then doing a row and going up, because we just did a continuous row, we do have to finish it off. Like we can't just cast off there because then you have this weird chunk. So what I would do, what I am going to do, is, since this was a double crochet in US terms, I would do a single crochet in the next one, and then I'd do a slip stitch in the next one, and then I would bury the tail in here because I'm lazy like that. And then after I do that, then I will put it on the cane and show you what it looks like. And there we have, you can see the decrease in stitch length, which makes it quite a bit smoother of a transition to the end. Okay, so now I've laid it out. You can see it's roughly the same size. I am very short, as you can see. I use one of the smallest sizes, so I only had to do 31 inches. So it didn't take me too terribly long. I'm also a slower crocheter, so it took me longer than it would a normal person. But the taller you are, obviously the taller your cane is, and the longer it's gonna take you. So now I'm just going to take apart my cane, and then I'm gonna slide this onto this part of the cane while this part is off, and then this will have to scrunched up at the top here when I put this back on, so that I can adjust everything and pull it up, and then I'll put this down so that it fits over this part of the cane. So this is what I meant. You're gonna have to squish it all onto the top part so that you can put this back, if you have this kind of adjustable one. If you don't have an adjustable one and you don't take it off the same way, obviously it's gonna be a little different. And I think that's the case with a lot of this, is it's all going to be slightly different depending on the kind of cane you have, and you're just gonna have to work around, you know, differences between different canes. Now I've got my cane to my height and I've tightened it, so I just have to pull this down. But you do want to be careful about the button and this, because they can be a little bit tricky, and you can get caught with them. And there we go. Now my cane is covered, and yeah, that's what it looks like. My cane cover on. It does crinkle a little bit in the corner if you get it too big or too small, but if you pull, it should go away. If it's too long on either end, that's where you'll see bunching and stuff. So you really have to get it the right length if you don't want that to happen. Yeah, I really like this one, and I like the way it worked up, and I think it would be really fun to do one of these if I could find like a white and red that pulled the same way, so I could have a candy cane, because I think that would just be quite a fun pun. Get it? A candy cane? Yeah, okay. Anyways, that's all. For an extra bit of personalization, I think you can also swap out this like basic wristlet, if yours has a spot for it, with one that you've made yourself. You can make one that matches, or you can make one that's different, or whatever. But just something else that you can do to personalize your cane if you feel like it. So yeah, that's how I made my cane cover. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and or learned something, and or felt inspired to do whatever you want to your mobility aid. I'm just really trying to get used to having a mobility aid now. I've been wearing hearing aids for about a year, and at first I really didn't like them, but then the more I wore them, the more I was able to appreciate you know, what they do for me and how they help me. And I think it's going to be the same with the cane, but I'm really trying to like make it a little bit more fun. Yeah, so I just really enjoy doing this, and I think it helped me a little bit make it feel like my cane is I don't know, more personalized, I guess. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, hope you have a good day. Bye.